Hello everyone, George DeSantis here with a look at the market for the week ending December 14th, 2018. And as we always do, make sure you take a look at the disclaimer. It mainly indicates that I'm not a professional investment advisor, and therefore you should seek advice from a professional investment advisor if you need that. I do this look at the market. I've been doing it for many years, 40 years. I used to write it out, type it out, and then I learned how to do a video. It is mostly for my own education, my own edification, and for those who care to take a look at it. Um, but I claim no training in economics or in even no degrees in technical analysis. I'm purely self-taught. So I just want to make that clear. Now, as we all know, last week was another very difficult week in the market. It was down again. So now we have to decide, as far as I'm concerned, I have to decide, so what do I do now going forward? In the next week or two, what might we expect, and how do I manage my assets, my portfolio? So here's a weekly chart of the S&P 500, and clearly you could see the 4 EMA crossed below the 9 back in early October. That's when this whole downdraft began. And so we can see that the 9 crossed over the 30 here. And since then, it's been a downtrend. So the weekly chart is certainly in a downtrend. You can see the 30 weighted moving average, the 50-day moving average, the 9, the 4, it's all downtrend. And insofar as MACD is concerned, you can see that MACD is not doing any better. MACD is trending down in the last couple of weeks as well. As far as the sum of the rate of change indicator is concerned, you can see that break here of the 4% line back in at about the same time, very first week in October, second week in October. Similarly, a week or so later, the Williams percentile crossed below the 50% line, which is kind of you've heard me say, for me anyway, it's sort of a line in the sand. If the Williams percentile, the 30-day period that I use, is below 50%, I begin to think this market is not treating me very kindly. It's going down. And so, sure enough, you have this downtrend here. Now, I did sell many of my stocks, most of them around here in October, when the market started falling apart and when the 4 crossed over the 9. Somewhere in this area I was selling, okay? So back here, somewhere in November, I bought back a few stocks, quite a few stocks, and then because my sell criteria were hit, I started selling again. I still own some stocks, and quite a few of them, and now I have to make some decisions. If they hit my sell criteria, I'm out, no questions asked. And I told you what those sell criteria are on the daily chart, which we'll look at in a minute, and perhaps we ought to do that now. Let's take a look at the daily chart. On the daily chart, if it's an individual stock and the 4 EMA, the yellow line, crosses below the 9, which is the red line, I'm out. If the stock drops more than 6%, IBD uses 7. If the stock drops more than 6% from my buy point or the price I paid for it, I'm out. Sell. No questions asked. And I've done that, and I will be doing that again this week. So on the daily chart, we saw the downtrend on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, you can see the 200-day average, the 50-day, the 30-day. So as we get to the lower lines here, these are all shorter period averages. This is a 4, this is a 9, that's a 30, a 50, and a 200-day. So it's clear this is a downtrend. So that's the bad news. And you can see on MACD, we're trending down. And look at some of the rate of change and Williams percentile. So we're definitely in a downtrend. No arguments there. Is there any positive sign at all? Is there anything we could look forward to any sort of like things that we might anticipate, at least a bounce. Let's take a look. Uh, Here we had a low of 25.83. This was Monday. One, two, three, four. Yeah, this was Monday last week. So the Bears tried to take it down. They got as low as 25.83, and the Bulls pulled it back up. But since then, the Bears busy at work again on Friday, and they took it down. But the low was on Friday was 25.93, so just above the previous low here. So we wait to see who's going to win this tug of war. Are the Bears going to win it, or are the Bulls going to start making their presence known? Who knows? I don't know. I'm just going to try and trade what I see. So I had a big drop on Friday. Of course, my portfolio went down significantly on Friday. But so I'll be looking to see what else do I need to sell. And I'll be waiting to see if we could hold here at 25.83. If we hold here and we see some signs of reversal, then I'll try to get back in later on. But I want to see some confirmation first before I do that. I'm not in any hurry to go buying a whole lot more stuff here. This is a downtrend, significant on the daily and the weekly chart. So having said that, I don't know if you're prepared to take a look at some individual stocks, but maybe we should. All right, so if you're still with me and you didn't say, well, let me throw the towel in yet, let's take a look at some stocks. I have a list here of stocks that I either own, have owned and sold, or looking to buy as soon as it seems right. The conditions seem correct. So the first one we have here is Pfizer, PFE. And you can see it's oversold now. And this yellowish brownish line here is the shaken long-term trend line. It's a proprietary trend line, but it's pretty close to a 200-day moving average. And the dotted line in the middle here is a 21-day shorter term moving average. So we're oversold. It pretty much meets a lot of the shaken criteria. It's very bullish, that green bar. You can see that it outperforms the rest of the market, the relative strength. It's oversold, and the money flow is pretty positive. So I'll be looking at this and looking to buy it when it seems that the rest of the market is more favorable. Well, let's look at another one, Mondelez. You can see that Mondelez is oversold. Insofar as the shaken indicators are concerned, it's bullish. It's green, it's bullish. It is outperforming the rest of the market. It's oversold, and although the money flow came down a bit, it's still positive. So this is one I'll be keeping an eye on. ResMed, RMD, is another one. It's above the 200-day or the long-term average. Very nice money flow, but it's overbought right now. So might want to wait until we come down to an oversold region here. You can see that it's outperforming the rest of the market quite well, and that it's also a bullish indication by shaking. Adobe, well, I own Adobe. You can see that it's below the 200-day average, the long-term average. And the earnings didn't come in as well as expected. It was 6 cents below the estimate. And you can see the money flow fell off. So this is one I got to make a decision on. Probably look to sell it and buy it back later, perhaps. Salesforce is another one I like a lot, and I own it. You can see money flow is pretty good. It was overbought. It's coming down to it's becoming a little more oversold here. And it's neutral and it's pretty positive in terms of relative strength. So I still own it, but I'll be making decisions on all of these, as I said, whether I need to sell them at all. Now, Medtronics is another one. Let's see if I own. Yes, I do own Medtronics. Just fell below the 200-day or the long-term average, but it's now oversold. So I'll keep an eye on it. If it if it hits my sell criteria, I'll get rid of it. But you see, I like the other indicators. The other indicators look good. You know, the money flow is good. It's outperforming the rest of the market. It's neutral, so it's not bearish, you know. Microsoft, I still have it. Another one of those that becomes questionable here, but it's becoming oversold. I'll wait and see what happens this week, but it's now below that 200-day average, and it could be problematic at this level. Visa, still own it. It's now oversold, but it's below that 200-day average. It's a long-term holding for me. I just like the whole concept of being the bookie, as my friend Terry would say. And Visa is one of those things I think of as being a bookie. You're getting a piece of the action on every time a person uses a Visa card, which is millions and hundreds of millions of people perhaps. I like it. Etsy. Now this one is above the 200-day moving average. I still own it. You could see the money flow is pretty good. It's a little overbought here, but boy, is it outperforming the rest of the market. It's neutral. Google I don't own anymore, and you can see it's in a downtrend below the 200-day, and the 200-day is actually trending down. So that I don't own anymore. And IDXX I used to own, similar look like Google. It's oversold, but you see the relative strength is so bad. Hasn't changed personality. Now, Procter & Gamble, guess what? I just bought it. Money flow is pretty good. It was oversold, so I bought it in here. And the relative strength is pretty nice. And it's neutral. But look at how nice it's performing. So I own Procter & Gamble. Let's see. Viva, I don't own this one anymore. It dropped below the 200-day average. You could see that the money flow is still pretty good. It's oversold, so it may be looking to make a move here again. Relative strength is not bad, and it's neutral. So it might begin to make a move again. Workday I still own, and you could see it's above that long-term average. It got overbought, and so it pulled back a little bit, but I love this stock. So you could see the money flow is pretty good. It was overbought, and it's pulling back. So it's a keeper, as I say. Now Tesla, controversial, but above the 200-day average. I own it. Money flow started to become positive again here. It was oversold, and I bought it in here. And you can see it's outperforming the rest of the market. Relative strength is positive. It's neutral. So I'm going to keep Tesla for now. I like it. Apple I don't own anymore. I sold it way back when. And you could see that the money flow is pretty negative here. And everything else is looking pretty negative. So those are some of the stocks that I own and are thinking of owning. And I think we'll call it a day here. Good luck in coming week. Let's hope that we see some changes. I don't know what to expect, but I'm still holding a few stocks, and we'll look to sell some. It all depends. If they hit the criteria, I sell. Have a great weekend. I hope you did. Bye-bye.